Hello, hello, hello. Give God all the honor and the glory and the praise, because only He could do it. It's only He that has the power of our life or death of our lives. And He said it was okay for some of us to see this day. If you are in that number, you need to praise God for it, because nobody else could do it but Him. On my last show, I was talking about salvation, religion, and to issue a better understanding of why T may have issues or had issues with going to church. What happened? You see, brothers and sisters, this is what we do wrong to each other. Somebody else is always trying to be a parent of somebody else instead of living their own lives, letting God do what He's supposed to do as the parent, and we do what we're supposed to do towards each other and be sisters and brothers. We're not supposed to judge each other and put each other down, but we're supposed to rather pray for that person or pray for one another. God will handle the judging. Only He can do it. Tupac said it, I told you yesterday. Only God can judge us. Nobody else has that power. But something happened to me when I was 21 years old. And when that happened, let's see, 82. In 84, this is when it happened. I didn't want nothing to do with no church. Unless it was a wedding and or a funeral. You couldn't get me to a church house. I didn't feel nothing behind not wanting to go after what had happened to me. And after this certain thing happened to me, I would keep trying to go back to church because you gotta go to church. This is what they tell you. This is not the way I believe today. You ain't gotta go to no church house. They used to tell us the people makes the church. The people is the church. You can have church anywhere. You can fellowship anywhere. Fellowship how you need to fellowship. You do what you need to do for you. Don't let nobody else control you. I ain't worrying about what I need to do. I'm gonna handle me. I'm good over here. Ain't nobody finna control this over here. Nobody. No man. And when I say man, I'm talking about human being. I'm not getting into the genetics of female and male. I'm just talking about just being a human being. I don't want nobody to get out there and start thinking I'm anti-sociable or anti-this, anti-that. No, I don't care about none of that. I just want you to be clear that I was just talking about a human being and not a man, not a male. But sometimes, like I keep telling people, so let me tell you, bad things happen to good people. You can be a good person and something still bad happens to you. Sometimes you're gonna go through something and can't nobody else do nothing about it. All you doing as you going through this certain thing, if you should tell another person, all they can do is listen. But it's way out of their control. Some things God has His hands on it. He put in your path for a reason. And you may not never know the reason. But I believe that everything the Lord do is good for me, and I'll take it. So, the name, I'm writing a book. The name of this chapter that describes what I'm going to read to you today is called The Cadillac. Now, before I get started, y'all know I'm new at this game called YouTube, okay? That's all I'm new to right there. That's it. I'm not new at who I be and what I stand for and all that. No. But what I am saying is that I don't want nobody to listen to my videos around children because I'm not filtering what I have to say. I'm going to give you the real deal, the real deal. You feel me? The real deal, 100. I'm going to give it to you straight up. It's up to you what you do with it. Because after all, it's just information. It's just a trial or tribulation that maybe you know somebody that's been through the same thing, or you going through the same thing, or somebody may go through the same thing and have to come to you and you know about it. But believe, every human being should know this. We all have our individual walks of life. So we need to stay in our own individual lanes and drive our own individual machine, our bodies, our minds, and our heart. That's what we need to do. That's all we need to do. So let me get started by reading you the chapter called The Cadillac. Okay. Put my other glasses here. So, anyways, I pray don't nothing happen to me behind this story because I'm not trying to influence children or nothing like that. I feel like children's ears and minds need to be protected, and we as adults should do the protecting if they are around. But I am pre-warning you not to do it around a child. Don't read, don't look, don't do it around a child. I'm grown. I'm 61 years old. Can't change me now. So therefore, when I talk, I'm talking to adults. I'm not talking to no child. I'm not talking to no child. So let me get started. Chapter 1 of my book is called The Cadillac. All I could do is run as fast as I can and as far away as I could to get to safety. Once I was far away, I turned and looked back at him. He was standing on the driver's side of his tan Cadillac, and he was fixing his clothing. He was yelling at me. No one would believe you because of who he was. I'm Bishop of Church of God in Christ. And that he was well known and well respected within the Cogent Church of God in Christ Foundation. I turned and ran into my uncle's and auntie's bedroom. I was living with them at the time with my daughter, my first child, without even knocking. I had to tell someone immediately of what just happened to me. I thought that if someone I told immediately, that they would know what Bishop did and said was untrue. That it was all about no one believing me because of his status. When I ran into the room, my uncle was in his briefs without a shirt on. My auntie was in her bed in a teddy. I fell on the floor, screaming with all my might of what just happened to me, telling them all about it. My aunt said, come with her into the bathroom. I told her in detail, all the way of how I felt deep down inside my soul. I wanted to take a bath. I wanted to get that icky feeling off of me. The scent, the touch, the voice. Oh, I wanted it to go. Well, I wanted it to go. I did. But prior to this occurrence happening to me, one day my pastor, who was the Bishop of Church of God in Christ Foundation, the church was Fresno Temple, Church of God in Christ, he called and asked me, where have I been? I told him I'd be at home. I had a lot going on, but he would see me at church on Sunday. This may have been Wednesday or Thursday prior to Sunday. He stated he just wanted to come by and see me and see if I was all right. I said okay. So I gave him directions and he came by. As soon, I'm telling you, it wasn't no stagnation, it wasn't no time lapse. As soon as I opened the car door, I smelled alcohol. It was so strong that I thought that maybe he had somebody in the car that he gave a ride to or something like that he spoke to, because the alcohol smell was so strong. And I thought this may have occurred prior to him coming to see me. Never. I'm telling you, excuse me. I apologize for that. I just got that long string hanging. There you go. But never did I suspect that he had been drinking. I didn't suspect that he had been consuming alcohol. I just didn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I lived in an apartment complex at the time with my aunt and uncle, as I said previously. So therefore, we had to go around to the back where I resided. And as we began to drive to the back and go around to the apartment complex, he began questioning me again on where have I been? Why I haven't been at church? I told him once again, I said, Bishop, you'll see me on Sunday. I had a lot going on that I had to be taken care of, so that's why I ain't been at church. I told him that I was in the process of moving, and I had a lot of things going on. And at that present time, from where we had to drive to get to the back of the apartment complex and go over the speed bumps and open up the electrical gate, it may have been 5 minutes. Once we were parked, he locked the doors. Remember back in the day when the Cadillac driver could lock all the doors to where nobody can get out or get in? They controlled the whole car by just one button you can push, and could nobody unlock their door or get out. And when he locked the doors, I thought it was weird. But after he locked the doors, he told me to get closer. He said, come closer. At this time, I knew of what situation I was in. I had finally came to the conclusion that he was a drunk and that he was going to rape me. I did as he requested and gotten closer to him. He then asked me of a kiss. I gave him a kiss on the cheek. He said in a very deep, deep, deep voice with great authority, look at me. Now, I'm not going to play no games with you. You know that I don't want no kiss on my cheek. You know what I'm talking about. I want a kiss on my lips. A real kiss. I said, Bishop, this ain't right. Bishop, no, this is not right. Bishop, stop. This is not, Bishop, this ain't right. This ain't right, Bishop. Why me? This ain't right, Bishop. This ain't right. He was holding me so tight. I remember how he was holding me. He was on me so tight I couldn't even move if I wanted to. The strength of that hand on me had me to where I couldn't even move if I wanted to. He was a very, very big man, maybe like 6'3", 6'4", he was very muscular, you know. And I was 21 years old at the time, and I was probably only weighing, because I was skinny like olive oil on Popeye. I was real skinny and little, so I was probably 125, 130. Now, the following text is the reason why I have advised anyone reading my book not to leave this book around children. Just like I advise you not to listen to this podcast around children. There will be no filter. We are grown adults in here. He said as he unbuttoned his pants along with raising up the steering wheel to make more room available for us, that we're going to do something called put your mouth on my dick. I was so scared. I was so scared. I was just sick and angry. I was so disappointed at him. All I could do was think about getting out of that situation and getting out alive. Because I kept thinking that once he locked the doors, that he could go somewhere. He could take me anywhere. I couldn't get out the car. I was so scared. I was so scared. We attempted to do as he had requested, but more room was available and needed. So I said, Bishop, let's get in the back seat where there's more room. Then I got more space where we can, really, do this. Hold on 1 minute. But I know the story by heart. So he said, okay. So what did he do? I'm going to tell you exactly what he did. What did Bishop do? He opened up that door. And when he opened up that door, and he got out that car to get in the back seat, I hopped out the back seat from over the front seat. I was on the passenger side, so I hopped over and I ran out the back. I ran out that back door. Oh, I ran, boy. I was running. I ran. I just opened the front door. I just ran straight in my auntie and uncle room. I sure did. But as I was running, or before I started running and I just ran out the door and I was running away from the car, he said to me, and I quote, "No one is gonna believe you. I'm Bishop. Who's gonna believe little old you over big old me? Do you know my status? No one's gonna believe you." After my bath, I still felt dirty. I still felt like his touches was on me, and I didn't know what to do about it. I didn't know what to do. I just didn't know what to do. So, after I had my bath, I was having a hard time sleeping. I was just restless. So my auntie slept with me and she held me tight till I fell asleep, and then she went back in her room. In the middle of the night, I just woke up screaming, and she ran in the room again. I was like, I didn't know if he thought he was there. He was coming back. I didn't know. I didn't know nothing. I didn't know was I finna get in trouble. He's a bishop. I didn't know nothing. All I knew was I just woke up screaming. Maybe I had a nightmare about it. I don't know. But my auntie said that she think I need more help than us just talking about it, her giving me a bath, and me just leaving it like that. She felt like it was a tragic situation that needed to be handled gently and professionally and in the right order. So she instructed me to call another aunt of mine. When I called the other aunt of mine, she said I needed to call the rape hotline. It was an 800 number that you would call if you've been raped. Following that phone call, which didn't do me no well, and I still felt the same. I still felt the same. I wanted to get a bath. I wanted to get that dirt off of me, get him off of me. My aunt told me that calling the rape counselor would probably be able to help me just deal with what had happened so that I won't be thinking it's my fault. Because I just kept saying, I shouldn't have went out there. I should have known. I kept blaming myself immediately. I shouldn't have. It wasn't me, but I felt like had I not went to the car, had I not told him to come over, had I not disbelieved that it was him when I smelled it, had I not, I wouldn't have been in that situation. So I was blaming myself. That was a joke. Calling that 800 number was a joke. All these people want sometimes information. I wanted somebody to go with me to confront him. My family was well known in church, been in this church, been in this. I wanted somebody to go with me. I could not believe that no one would go with me to that motherfucker house and confront his fake ass. No one would. Now, Lord, you forgive me. You know I don't know foul language ain't of you. I'm telling a story. I want to take them. I'm trying this line. I'm taking them to it so they can feel how I felt about it. But I don't have to use foul language to talk to anybody. I can talk to you about any subject in the world and I can still be me without going out of my own character. But this is a book and I want you to feel me. But oh no. Just like he said, nobody was going to believe me, little old me. Nobody was. He told me, you can run, ain't nobody going to believe you. I'm Bishop. Do you know who I am? Who going to believe little old you over big old me? But things have a way of working themselves out. God said in his word, whatso a man soweth, so shall he reapeth. Would you believe within a month's time after this occurrence, I was in the Bay Area visiting with my aunt. No, I was at home and she called from her house. My auntie called from her house and said, it's in the newspaper that Bishop Wilson got pulled over for drunk driving. So Tanny was telling the truth for all that time. He was eventually confronted with an uncle that went with me to talk to him. And he told my uncle she wanted it. She come up to church and say, God bless me. She come to the altar and ask for prayer. She wanted it. My uncle lost it. My uncle stood up. Remember, we're in the house of the Lord, so I can't have all this going on, but my uncle stood up. And I said, Uncle, let's go. No, Uncle, no. No, Uncle, we gonna go. No, we're not going to. No, Uncle, this is God's house at the end of the day. We're going to go. Uncle, please, let's go. Let's just go. Let's just go. We walking out to church. And I never will forget as we walking out to church, He's saying what had happened. So other people in the church, cause it wasn't a church service day. It was just that was his office. So you can go to Bishop during the day if you want to find him. People know he'd be at the church. He'd be at the office. He had an office, 3-story church. So anyways, what ended up happening is as we walking out of the church, it's a big church, my uncle was letting it out like, man, that nigga fake. He did it. Man, he's fake. Nigga gonna sit up there and try to rape. He fake. Bishop wasn't fake. He was mad when he said she wanted it. He wasn't expecting that from, he was expecting the bishop to deny it, to say that it didn't happen and say, I didn't do that. But he didn't say that. He said, I wanted it. That pissed my uncle off. My uncle was pissed. He had to be pissed because he was brought up in church to be sitting there yelling and about to do what he was going to do in that church. And then as he's walking out, he cussing and everything else. He was pissed. He said, everyone, he says, but he had not only myself. No, this is what he said. He says, after every church service, she would come for a hug. Imagine a church being over 2,000 members, 3 stories. He had not only me giving him a hug, saying, God bless you, Bishop. So me saying that and going to him to say, God bless you, wasn't the reason why I gave him some function that I wanted him. Oh, shriveled up piece of, man, I'll cut it off and I'm not Lorraine Bobbitt. I'm T Bobbitt. If I take the time to cut your dick off, you think I'm going to tell him where it's at? No, I'm going to put it in a pickle jar with some vinegar and I'm going to keep it as a souvenir and just, that's what's going to happen. If I got to go through, I was so mad, just getting a little bit off topic, give me a minute here. I was so mad, I think it was 1981, I was in 12th grade, and heard about Lorraine Bobbitt and killed her husband, or stabbed her husband. She had been on the news, him and her backwards and forwards, because I guess it was kind of out there in a sense, and he was out there being abusive. But the main thing of it is, this one day she got tired of him abusing her. So you know what she did? She cut it off. I was so happy she did it. But I said, why in the heck did she tell him where it's at? What a dummy. Such a dummy. I mean, that thing would have been in a pickle jar and I would have been looking at it every day like, that nigga, man, he'll lie, he'll remember me for the rest of his life. He gonna remember me. So, I didn't want my uncle to go to prison for doing nothing like that on my account. But after this happened, I didn't want nothing to do with no church. Don't talk to me about no church if it ain't a funeral or wedding, because I ain't going. I don't need no one person telling me something that I can read for myself and get the perception and understanding that God has for me. You let a man almost take your body, almost rape you, and put you in a state of fear your life. And if you want to still go to churches after that, that's you. It wasn't me. And I don't apologize for it. I do me. I do what I feel like is best for me. But here's the topper of this chapter. Prior to him, before he died, here was the topper. From the date of that incident, some of my family members continued to go to this man's church and support him. After what he had did to me, they didn't believe me. They thought I was lying. I tell you, You gotta live for yourself. You gotta check your own self. We all have a story. So just maybe, if we can all start doing this one thing, stop judging another person. You don't know what that person been through in their life. You don't know their story. For a long time they talked about me. Because when somebody used to ask me about going to church, I would be going off. I goes off. I didn't want to go. So I used to say it was a cult, religion, all that. But see, God knows. All you know is what you see. Had I not ever told you about the Cadillac experience, you would never be able to understand why I feel the way I may do about church. But now maybe it's clearer. Maybe just the next time you see somebody doing something, you don't have to do it and condone it, but you also don't have to get in their business or get in their way by trying to judge them or deter them from doing something. Just be kind. Just treat others how you want them to treat you. Love your neighbor as yourself. You do those things. Because sometimes you're gonna talk to somebody or you're gonna meet somebody that went through something. One last thing, and I'm gonna end this podcast. I can't wait till Uncle Clifford come back in P-Valley, because I need another rule. If you don't know it, you don't know it. You gotta go research it. I ain't finna get all down to it. His other show that he just came out, Down in the Dirty South, that ain't the same thing. I want P-Valley back. So Uncle Clifford, you come back. But when I watched P-Valley, it made me not be judgmental on no one again. Regardless of another person's walk, I don't care if you're a stripper, I don't care if you're a whatever you do, I don't care. I don't care about your sexuality and who you choose to love and make your mate. I don't care. Love is love. That much we know. We know that can't nobody say that you can't fall in love with someone, even if it is the same sex, I guess. Hey, it's possible. Now, I didn't say you have. I'm just saying, I love all you as my brothers and sisters, all of you. I don't get into what you do, what you don't do. As long as ain't nothing concerning T over here, Birdman, thank you. I watched an interview about Birdman, and they was asking Birdman about what the media had been saying about him and saying about all the rumors. Birdman had on his dark shades. He sat back in the chair just like this. He said, nigga, I don't give a F about what nobody said about me. If it ain't messing with me and my money, I don't. And hey, I sure don't care. You can talk to you blue in the face and you can talk all you want over here, but you ain't gonna do nothing. You ain't gonna do nothing, and I ain't gonna listen to you because I don't have to. I'm not a follower, never been. If everybody liked the left, I'm going to the right. I never liked anything that everybody else liked. I wanted to be different. I am different. I'm me. I'm T. So anyways, I end today by saying, just be a little cautious when you meet someone who are living a way that you don't condone to live, or if they are doing things that you don't condone they should be doing. Just be kind and show love. Until the next tea time and the next tea channel, may God bless you and your family and keep you safe. And may God bless us as Americans to do everything in our power to save America from not being a democracy, a dictatorship country. Not democracy, I want it to stay a democracy and not be a dictatorship country. I love you, and again, I say, God bless.